Hotel workers of Reddit. What is something guests do that gets under your skin the most? Story 1. What got to me most was the number of times I was used as an example by parents when their kids were misbehaving. For example, if I was cleaning the windows and a child was being noisy nearby, a parent might say, "If you aren't good and don't listen, you'll end up cleaning windows for your whole life like this man." Completely dehumanizing, demoralizing, and just a bit of a shitbag thing to do anyway. Happened so many times I lost count. Story 2. We had guests open the minibar fridge, drink the beer in the empty bottle, put the cap back on, and went on their merry ways. Next client, old gentleman with his daughter, took a swill of that day. Thing is, we had no idea which previous clients did this, which sucked. Story 3 was a hotel room cleaner when guests put used untied condoms in the toilet, under pillows, under the bed, on the tea and coffee tray, basically anywhere, and not flushing the toilet. It's disgusting. Story 4, when they try and do sneaky things. Example 1, poking holes in the bottom of the cans in the minibar. We caught a few of these, but only after other guests noticed, so we had no idea which guest did it. Example 2, taking in one of the drawers and leaving it there. Story 5, working front desk right now. I have no luggage carts because people bring them in their rooms and keep them overnight. Some people keep them for their whole stay over multiple days. Story 6, a lot of guests just assume we know who they are. How am I supposed to know? By face name all 300 rooms when I'm a bartender and seeing you for the first time? Also the amount of people on checkout that try to deny all room charges despite us having their signature on each one. Story 7, instead of tips, you'd be shocked at the number of female guests who think a flash is as good as cash. Sorry, ladies, but a glimpse of your knockers isn't going to help this bellhop knock out the rent next month. Regular guests that would interrupt you when dealing with other customers like they are more important. Story 8, I worked in hotels years ago, and the amount of people who order room service and answer the door scantily clad is astonishing. It's your room guy. If you want to lie around with your out, that's totally fine. Just please we give you a robe. Throw it on before opening the door. Story 9, valet here. When guests flat out explode on me at the front drive, when I politely tell them they have to go one level down to get their vehicle as opposed to picking up out front, they're told this when they arrive. I didn't build the hotel. I didn't place the office downstairs. I didn't place the key safe there. You know this chill the out hotel pianist here. I hate being photographed or filmed, but I keep a cool head by telling myself that at least I know they like my playing. Some Japanese tourists, however. The whole group came to my piano mid-performance and positioned themselves one by one behind me, while a designated photographer took pictures of them. I mean, come on, at least ask if it's okay. Give a tip, and not a rare attraction that need be documented. That is distracting. Story 10, honestly, the insane expectations. It's not the worst thing, but it's by far the most common. Like, buddy, you paid $120 in tax for a 2-star hotel room in Midtown Manhattan on a Saturday night. No, it doesn't come with a waterfront view. No, there is not any room service installed seamless like the rest of us. Christ. Also, if you want 2 beds, book 2 beds. Don't book the extra cheap tiny room and then put in a request for a 2-bedroom at the same price, because that's not how that works. Story 11, I hate when guests treat every minor inconvenience like it's the one thing that ruined their vacation. I read the feedback we get every single day, and people give us horrible reviews because of things like I had to wait a few minutes for the elevator and the noise level in the lobby was a bit high. I don't get how people are so sensitive to the tiniest things. Like if you are that way at home, I feel bad for your spouse or whoever you live with because it's horrible to be around such unnecessary negativity. Story 12, worked hotel maintenance. If you accidentally break something in a room, be honest and let the front desk know. 99 chance you won't be charged for damage. It also gives maintenance a heads up to fix it at our earliest opportunity and not have to rush to fix it when the next guest finds the damage, because the housekeeper didn't report it either. Where I worked, if a guest reported the damage, they wouldn't be charged for it. If they just leave and don't tell anyone, they'd be charged a damage fee, usually about $100. Yes, we could do that. It's on the paperwork you sign when you check in. Story 13, probably the thing that drives me bananas is obvious lying. I've never been to a hotel where they authorized extra on my credit card. The last time I was here, they gave me the presidential for free. No one's ever needed my photo ID to check in. The girl who checked me in yesterday said that I could have an upgrade to a suite today for free. Pretty sure when I checked you in yesterday, I said no such thing. Idiot, I've never seen a hotel charge for parking. What kind of scam is this? Actually not sure if this was lying or just ignorance. Maybe they've never stayed at anything that wasn't a roadside motel, but sweet zombie Jesus, it happens a lot, and our parking isn't even that expensive. Thought of another one. Racism. The pool's too crowded. My kids can't swim there. Make some of the others leave. Pool has no one but an African-American family who 2 small children playing at one end of the pool. Happily referred this complaint to my African-American manager, who pretended not to understand what they were saying, and then 2 hours later checked in a transgender African-American prostitute next door to their suite. There are people being loud in the restaurant. Kick them out. They're clearly not paying customers. You could tell just by looking at them. And the only reason no one's saying anything is because you're afraid of being called racist. Of course they're loud. It's Super Bowl, and the game is on. FFS, this sparkling gem, tried calling corporate on us. Did not get far. Story 14, I am a housekeeper at a nice, smaller-sized, family-oriented hotel in Atlanta, Canada. It is a franchise property, but is a part of a huge chain, one jackal children running up and down the halls. Some even like to knock on other guest doors at 10 p.m. and shout housekeeping. They honestly think it's hilarious. 2 people just coming up to my card and taking what they want, towels, shampoo, etc. Just ask 3 people staring at myself and my fellow housekeepers as if we are actual aliens. It baffles me how many people don't understand that we essentially keep a hotel running and they barely know we exist. For don't ask me how much I make. Don't ask me if my work is seasonal. Don't ask me anything that is not related to your stay and general comfort. Story 15, former housekeeper here. People would spit their chew into soda cans and leave them in the room. I would grab them and think they were full of old soda, dump it in the sink, and promptly would gag at the horrendous smell. I have a long-standing hatred of people who chew now, y'all nasty. Story 16, I work at a hotel in a small, beachside Florida town. Our town has very little parking, and we advise our guests of this, especially during peak times, that we, as well as the entire city and all other surrounding properties, will have to restrict parking to only 1 vehicle per guest. I do understand that it's not always the best, but people who have been coming here forever know that in high season there is no place to park, so they begrudgingly will find a way to carpool, but not everyone does. Oftentimes, many locals will rent a room and then invite everyone to come on over, which in itself is a violation of our rules if you go over 6 registered guests. And of course, everyone has to bring their own car. Not happening, because if you bring more than 1 vehicle, you're taking someone else's spot. So, of course, it's the stupid sense of entitlement that somehow gets me that people from out of state up to 1,500 miles in some cases can drive here in 1 vehicle, and yet you can't carpool from 50 miles away. Our security officer got one lady one time. Of course, because she's a special snowflake who the rules do not apply to. She brought 3 cars on a sold-out day. We don't have room for that. You're on your own to try to find if it even exists off-property parking for your other 2 cars. Good luck. Well, she's not having it. Of course, she throwing a fit about not being able to have 2 extra cars. Our security officer stood firm. Finally, the lady says, "You're full of..." The best response our security officer ever had to anyone, "No, I'm not. I took care of that this morning, but thank you for your concern for my good health and regularity." I laughed so hard I had tears in my eyes. He put her in her place, and she had no choice but to move her cars off property. But it's the sense of the rules don't apply to me. And so what if I inconvenience someone else as long as it's not me? Story 17, guests complaining about the size of the rooms and how everything is so basic. You literally booked the cheapest hotel room in the whole city. That's what you get. Story 18, this conversation, hi. Do you have any rooms? No. Sorry, we're sold out. You don't have anything? Nope, we're all booked up. I just need 1 bed. I'm sorry, I don't have any rooms. I can call another hotel for you if you want so. Not even the honeymoon suite or anything, no, sorry. But like I said, I can call another hotel if you want to see what's available. No, that's fine. Are you serious? Hotel building maintenance here. Honestly, most people are okay, if a bit weird, but I can't stand the unnecessary damage of drinks and hyperactive children. We literally had a guy last week all over his bed before sleeping in it, because drunk him decided it was a hilarious idea. The next morning, he demanded the bed be clean for him. When he got back, he's staying for a few weeks with a few other guys in other rooms for a local construction project. His boss had a good laugh of it. When we called to explain, we're charging the company for the cleaning fee. Even if dude isn't personally held responsible, the boss we contract with is a funny guy, and having the scoop on a bedwetter probably have him some leverage. Also, people who break or tamper with things in their room to try to get a discount. Like seriously, we inspect the rooms after each cleaning, and also our clean rooms get checked every day. We know it was working before you were in there. Story 19, not showing up for your reservation on a busy, sold-out night, and not letting us know you're not making it. I get a lot of walk-ins and phone calls asking if a room is available, but normally can't sell them a room that's already booked reserved. Some people are just looking for a place to sleep for the night. Story 20, I work as a valet manager at a luxury hotel. Wedding parties that are obviously extremely wealthy who ask you to bend over backwards for them, park all of their cars, take loads of gifts and luggage to many different rooms, bring them wine and all sorts of food, order town cars and taxis for them, set up dinner reservations, put up with a bunch of their complaining and doing your best to accommodate them. And in the end, no tip and no thank you. Story 21, he used to do security for a DoubleTree in my city, and everything was perfect, super cake job, until the winter weekends when kids' hockey would start up, and both the Americans and Canadians were absolutely terrible parents, just getting absolutely plastered and not paying any attention to their kids. Kids playing knee hockey in the hallways. Kids using chairs to try and block doorways, so I couldn't get through and get to them. It was a 5-story building, and every floor had an interior balcony that ran around the inside, and moron kids would climb up on the railings and stand up. Just the absolute worst, and the parents were always 10 drinks in and would just scream and yell when you try to tell them to actually parent their kids. Story 22, reception worker for an international chain of hotels here. Breaking an obvious rule they have been informed about 10 times, and then come to the reception to scream at my face. I will talk to your general manager in the headquarters in another country. Sure, fill in the complaint form, make that long and expensive call, and let me know when they confirm what I have just said. Story 23, wedding parties and bridal parties. 910, the women are extremely high maintenance, trash the rooms, and never tip under any circumstance, yet expect to be treated like royalty because they're paying for their room. Goes the same way with bachelor parties too. Loud, drunk, obnoxious men who tend to start fights in the lobby. On the plus side, the men seem to tip slightly more often. Story 24, 1, call me. For stupid, you can Google. Want to know where the nearest Papa John's is? It's really simple. Google. Even the Papa John's website has a location finder that will tell you faster than a phone call to me. 2, blatantly ask for free stuff? No, I'm not going to give you free food at a restaurant, just because. Celebrating an anniversary. They'll cover your whole room with rose petals and wine and chocolate. But if you specifically ask for stuff for free, you're 3, go to someone else besides the front desk, because there's a line. Yeah, I know there's a line. We have 1,005 rooms and operate on 90 occupancy on average. There's going to be a line. No, that doesn't mean the concierge or the bellhop can check you in for about some minor detail and then act embarrassed when we try to give you free stuff, so you'll quit whining. I know why you came down here. You know why you came down here. No, some dust on your dresser doesn't warrant a free meal at our top 10 rated restaurant. But you're getting it anyway. Don't act coy. You know exactly why you brought it to our attention. 5, lastly, and this might be my least favorite one. If you're not staying at the hotel, then NO, you can't just drop in TO. Use our pull concierge weight room message service. This is common sense. I should not have TO write this in all caps. The amount of times a guest will have requested something, needed something fixed in their room, or asked for room service, only to decide to straight after they put the phone down, leaving me stuck outside the door with that extra set of towels, or walking into a room to fix something and seeing more than I ever needed to. Also, bins are provided in bedrooms for a reason. Stop leaving used condoms, lube packets, discarded toys, just all over the bed and tables. I get it, and dirty weekends away are awesome. Just have a little thought for the person who has to clean up the room after masturbating in ice buckets. Story 25, I start going through the spiel about amenities, breakfast, etc., and they either just say thanks and walk away before I'm done, or say, yeah, I know I've been here before, so I stop. 10 minutes later, they call, hey, what time is breakfast? And when does the pool close? Well, if you had listened the first time. Story 26, assistant front office manager of a boutique hotel here. Third-party booking sites are the bane of our existence. In order to make any changes to your reservation, you have to speak with their customer service team, so they can reach out to us to fix whatever the situation is. It is a big waste of time on everyone's part. You're better off spending the $510 in savings on booking directly through the hotel and cutting out the middleman. You honestly don't save that much money in the long run. We'll get guests who book third-party and don't get the hotel room they booked. Hey, race the thing about third-party OTAs. You're not guaranteed the room type you think you're booking. You're only guaranteed a room somewhere in the vicinity of the hotel you're booking at. So I'm sorry that I gave all the good rooms to the guests that are paying more and put you in the room with the blinking streetlight just outside the window, or the room that has the loud HVAC unit. Billing also gets tricky for the guests. They often expect to have a receipt at checkout, and we have to explain that their receipt comes from the third-party company, not the hotel. The guests don't often read the additional fees portion of the website either. Then they get mad at my staff when they find out about our hidden fees. I have a binder of printed screenshots of every booking sites page for our hotel, where it specifically states the additional fees for our hotel desktop site, mobile site, Android app, and iOS app. Whenever a guest says it isn't there, I pull the binder and ask why they didn't read the site's booking page where it clearly states the fees. They will argue it 90 of the time, and I just review the site with them. If they want to take it to the next level, they won't be doing it with me. I provide them with their specific booking site's customer service team and wish them luck. Whenever the third party's customer service team calls me, I tell them that the fees are specifically written out on the site and we will not be budging on it. It's a huge pain in the tail, and there are plenty of other reasons that third-party booking sites are evil. Just trail over to our tales from front desk and take a look. TLDR, don't book third-party. Do your research and book direct. It will save you from playing phone tag if anything goes awry with your reservation. Story 27, I worked at a Hard Rock hotel. The most annoying thing was probably the wannabe reality TV star 40-somethings that would stay at the hotel and try to relive their youth. And by relive their youth, I mean act like obnoxious teenagers who act wealthier than they actually are. Had one guy nearly blow up at me because he thought I included a tip on a $200 check. When I informed him that was the tax, he just sighed and threw it back at me. Story 28, the hotel I work at does not own their own parking garage. We have a discounted rate with the garage next door, $18 per night in and out instead of $50 without in and out access. Whenever I explain this, guests look at me like I have 8 heads. What is this, Manhattan? Wow. $50, there's that much going on in town here. Do they wash and detail your car for you? Yeah, right, because I'm the one who built that garage and manages it too, while working front desk for the hotel at the same time. Early check-in during summer, we literally have to flip the entire hotel in a day. Sometimes people will come in at 10 a.m. and expect to be checked in immediately. Usually the diamond, platinum, silver ruby guest. You know, there was no one else staying in that room last night, or anything. We actually reserved that room for the entire year, just for you. But in platinum, yeah, so that means we can rip guests out of bed before checkout and clean the room in 5 seconds just for you. Concert construction outside, noise guests will call and complain about noise like concerts or construction we have no control over. Had one lady call and complain about outside noise from a concert around 8:30-9 p.m. I explained there was a concert and there was nothing I could do. Wait, no, actually they'll go up on stage and pull the plugs on the speakers. Concerts over, people. MS Smith can't get her sleep, go home now. Story 29, I work overnight as a front desk supervisor. Most of the time, the most irritating guests are the ones who have stayed at the hotel previously and get mad that policies change. When I started working front desk 3 years ago, I could copy-paste a credit card off of a reservation. Now, I don't even see a number, and we have to swipe the card in person. No online payments are supported. This drives people insane, and they always jump straight to the well, it wasn't a problem when I stayed here last year argument. It's incredibly frustrating having people who don't understand that policies change, that those changes are not in fact my decision, and that they're done for their own good, or the time we had someone fapping in the lobby bar. Story 30, I worked as a hotel maid way back when guests not cleaning up after their fun times, lube, condoms, other stuff, guests not putting out their room service trays, leading to a tray crisis because no one could figure out where they were. Also, so much moldy food. Guests stealing toiletries from my caddy. Guests asking me if I spoke English at a hotel in England. Now, this one might sound fair enough because I had 1 or 2 polished coworkers who spoke better English than me, to be honest. But it was mostly international guests who would just barge into a room I was cleaning, not even say hello or excuse me, just start the conversation with "Do you speak English?" Which leads me on to no pleases or thank yous. "Miss, I need another towel." "Oh, okay, I'll get that for you, good. And going out, leave it on the bed." "Yeah, you're welcome, mate." And also, coming into a room I was cleaning, if I was in a room that was occupied and I was just doing a general dust, I would always shut the door. For unoccupied ones, I'd prop it open so I could get to the caddy easier, which was apparently an invitation that I wanted to chat, which was really complaining to me about things I have no control over, like the bill. "Look, pal, I was paid $3.65 an hour for that. I don't care if you thought the hotel was overpriced. I'd have to work for 3 full weeks to afford 1 night at this place. Excuse me if I don't care. No, I can't help the fact that the phone reception in here is bad. What do you want to do? Build a network tower? EFF off." Of course, this was only a few guests. Most were usually nice older couples who came to my town for a lovely weekend away. And once there was a medieval-themed wedding, and one guy dressed in the full Assassin's Creed getup, it looked better than the costume from the latest film. Story 31, oh, I worked at a Hilton years ago in high school. It was actually a fun job, but I still remember stuff 20 years later. If I'm helping someone else, I cannot carry your suitcases on top of this other guest. You can see that stop being impatient. One group was holding an event in one of our conference rooms, maybe 30 people. They all had to be well hydrated because I probably brought them 31-gallon pitchers of water. Not counting what the waitstaff brought them. The woman that work here will not sleep with you. And that girl that works here is 16. Guests that call up every 10 minutes asking for something odd or complaining about something we have no control over. "Sorry, I can't stop the snow." "No, we cannot drive you 3 hours to someone's house or some convention in the hotel van." What I remember anyways. Story 32, used to work in a very nice hotel. Downtown in a heavy tourist traffic city. If you're staying in a nice hotel in the middle of one of the most traveled entertainment districts in the country, quit getting mad and acting surprised when everything costs money. Yes, parking costs money. Yes, breakfast costs money. Story 33 me. Shall I email that receipt to you? Or would you like a printed copy? Guess yes, about 70 of the time. Every time also, shitty, drunk sports parents, all they do is destroy my lobby and cause a ruckus. They're worse than their shitty, noisy kids whom they completely neglect and let run amok in the hotel. Then the parents get snippy with us when we have to corral them and inform the parents to act like parents and obey the good neighbor policy that they signed, ensuring they would not let any of this happen. Hockey parents are by far the worst parents. Story 34. As a housekeeper currently on her way to work, I think I needed this thread to vent a bit. 1. Please answer the door. I know people don't want to deal with us, and you want us to clean while you're not there. I prefer it too, but don't yell at me through the door. If you answer the door, I just say, how do you want housekeeping now? If not, what time are you leaving? The door between makes it much harder for me, too. Don't refill those water bottles in the room with tap water. Honestly, we have a sign saying what it costs. If you don't want to pay for it, just drink the tap water you pour in the bottle. I check in every room if the seal is broken, and you get charged anyway. 3. Don't leave your D&D on for the entire day if you want service. Housekeeping is only on 8 to 430, so don't take your sign off at 4 p.m. and get mad when we can't clean your room. We put cards under each door that clearly states if you don't remove the sign by 3 p.m., you can only get towels from front desk, not cleaning, for I could go on for days talking about this. But lastly, please recognize I also want you to enjoy your stay. I love talking to nice guests, and honestly, if you're nice to me, I will go out of my way to help you out. Don't act like you are entitled to the universe because you're paying to stay at our mediocre hotel. Honestly, when people treat me in a friendly way or tip me, I give them all the extra they could need. Specifically with turn-down service, if you don't treat me like half the people I talk to every night, I will give you 6 of those little chocolates, man. May have to post more later. This is therapeutic to get out, man. Story 35. Guests freaking out about some inconsequential thing that ruined their stay. Bathroom floor tile had a crack in it. 0-10. Painting on the wall was slightly crooked. Ruined my whole vacation. Also, if something in your room doesn't work, or if there's some problem, fine, call the front desk, and we'll be happy to fix it. What is total bullshit, though, is having an issue and not saying anything about it and giving us a chance to remedy the situation. Instead, just quietly stewing about it only to blast us on the internet later. Story 36. Finally, a question I can answer. I work night audit and the occasional day shift at a small hotel that is part of a larger chain. The people that feel that it is my job to clean up their mess when it's my job, we have a pool that always has a load of towels that are left on the ground soaking wet. One time I found pizza floating in the pool. We have to close the pool and have it cleaned by the pool guy if there is any contaminates. It really upsets guests when we do, but I'm not the one who brought food into the pool area clearly marked no food. No glassware. I could really go on for hours about this topic, but I'll just leave my favorite hotel-based subreddit for you to peruse, or Tales from the Front Desk. Story 37. Stealing the elevator from in front of me. Oh, you were waiting with a giant cart full of stuff. It'll just jump in before you and let the door slam, and then the next person and the next. I wait 15 minutes to go one floor down because people have no consideration. Story 38. Not a hotel worker, but I cannot stand when I'm a guest at a hotel and someone brings kids who won't stop making too much noise at night. Bonus content. My comment reminded me of a story. When my family were staying in a hotel once, and these teens were running around the hotel floor we were staying on like it was on fire. After calling the front desk several times to ask them to tell the teens to stop and nothing happened, I opened my door and said, "Hey, can you stop?" People were trying to sleep, which also resulted in nothing happening. So I had the bright idea to watch for when one of them was running by my door and just flung the door open. Kid face planted into the door and made his nose bleed. My brother lost his laughing. They stopped running around after that. Story 39. People who know they can get out of paying for something just by complaining. I used to see them all the time tell the front desk agents I'm so annoyed the sun came up and made it difficult to sleep. This place is supposed to be relaxing, but it's so bright out. They keep it up until they're offered something be removed from their bill. Story 40. There was a suicidal guest staying at the hotel my boss previously owned. She explained that a single guy checked into the hotel one night, and hours later the front desk gets a call from the police looking for a man whose description matches the guy that checked in hours earlier. Front desk clerk admits she thinks she checked him in and asked the police to stop by. Guy that checked in was definitely the man police were looking for as he threatened suicide at his home before fleeing the property. When he realized the police were on the hotel property, he barricaded himself inside and started destroying the room. He cut up the mattresses and couch, took a knife to the walls, and started removing wallpaper, shoved pieces of paper into the electrical outlets, tore phone line out of wall, and filled hole with paper. I could go on and on with the damage he caused the room. This went on from midnight until about noon the next day, and with the commotion caused by the unruly guest and police presence, we had a lot of early checkouts and guests demanding a comp night for their troubles. Finally, police were able to gain access to the room and subdued the guest, and he was hauled away in handcuffs. Owner said she had a quote for $20,000 to repair all the damages in the room, which she was planning on taking guest to court for. About a week later, the guest arrives at the hotel by himself. Owner threatens to call police and have him removed. He said he was there to apologize for his actions, in which my boss told him she'll see him in court, because there's no way he could pay back the damages without going through insurance. He pulled out a fat envelope to the tune of $20,000 cash inside and asked her to forget his name. Story 41. I don't work at a hotel, but I do like to issue a formal apology to any hotel workers that I may have offended. For some reason, when I'm staying at a hotel, my brain forgets how to operate a razor. As a result, I often find that I have viciously cut myself and have bled on hotel linens like towels or carpet. It's nothing personal, I'm just retarded. Story 42. As a former valet in the Midwest, some people are unaware of the concept of valet and think, okay, I guess he'll use it, which is great, but when your car smells like moldy weed and stale beer and you don't tip for the week you're there, that gets really old. Flip side of that, you get some crazy tips from people that don't have immediate cash on them. I got a year pass to a strip club from the owner one time, an invite to Bush Pilot's MC from the chapter president, a book of $20 gift cards to Outback from a corporate dude, a very nice set of poker chips and custom case, tons of free t-shirts, pins, hats, sweats with corpo logos on them, etc. Story 43. I worked at 2 different hotels, and the amount of guests who don't flush the toilet has always astonished and baffled me. Do people think that flushing is so arduous that if they're on vacation, they're taking a break from it? How is flushing a toilet not a reflex? Story 44. Not a hotel worker, but this is a true story from a normal citizen. Someone I know went to a hotel for a stag do. He and his mates met in his room, and someone boiled a kettle and made tea. Yes, we are English on the second round of tea. He went back to fill up the kettle and screamed. There was a massive human in the kettle. Story 45. As a former bellboy FD and maintenance guy, the carts were always a big one, besides the fact that they were brass and needed polishing every few hours. Another bad one was finding a turd in our pool. How does someone not mention this? If it was a kid, there should have been an adult there to witness it. It was pretty hard to miss. After the sensationalism about bed bugs several years ago, every middle-aged woman I served was convinced any speck of dust or lint was a bed bug and that they deserved to be upgraded to a suite and a free dinner. Pro tip: look behind the headboards and between the mattresses. You aren't going to walk in and find them just chilling there watching TV. Rooms are treated weekly. Relax. The best words for me are people who can't use a key card. 9 out of 10 times you're just doing it wrong. Slow down and look at what you're doing. Most places mark the cards very clearly. Don't blow up at the person who comes to help you, or try to get a freebie out of it. To save face, I would usually print up new cards and bring them to the room, open the door in front of them to prove they work, and all was good. For problem guests, I would take their faulty card silently and unlock the door, look them in the eye, and say, have a nice day. Story 46. Room service here. Please tip, especially if you ask me to come back and bring you something 3 times. It doesn't have to be 20, but Jesus, just something please. I make server wage. Story 47. So we have a guy who is hated hotel-wide. A collective groan is heard every time he books. Once I accused our restaurant's sous chef of ruining Christmas for announcing this regular's impending return. He's a nice enough guy. That isn't why we don't like him. He's just cheap, as we are a 200-night hotel in the international brand chain, and he will stay for upwards of 6 months for $99 a night. That alone isn't enough of a gimme. He has way more than enough loyalty points for free breakfast. Still is not enough. He is known for needing his sheets changed on the daily. He and his mostly invisible wife, she is Link Bigfoot. Only grainy, badly processed sightings of her ever occur badger the housekeepers for extra towels, soaps, lotions, etc. Daily, he comes down and requests free toothpaste and razor from the front desk agents. Daily, will also bug them about the fax, printer, business center. He gets 2 free breakfasts a day per loyalty points. Eats one at the bar while watching Fox News, and takes the other Togo for his wife. Running theory is he eats himself later on. We in the restaurant have caught on to never give this guy a big brown Togo bag, if we can avoid it. He will take that sucker and fill IT with anything not hammered down in the restaurant when nobody is working. We don't have doors separating us from the lobby, so he can walk in and collect cereals, milks, yogurts, or whole fruits we had set up that morning. This guy has become the picture in my mind when I hear Republican. He frequently quizzes me on my opinions on the economy, the progress of the hotel I used to work for, and Obamacare. Usually I'm wrong, but he appreciates I have taken the time to form an opinion. Even if I'm wrong, ugh. One day, a banquet server who had never heard of this guy mentioned to me something funny he saw through the windows one day. He went, "What did that old guy even need with so much milk and cereal?" And I knew instantly who that was. We shared a laugh. When I hold my hand out to ask for your ID and CC at the desk, place them in my hand, don't throw them on the desk. Underneath my open palm, you former manager here, this is the same for any customer service field. If you have an issue, just come and ask us or tell us about it. There's no need to yell or scream. Our job is to help you. And frankly, we want to help you and get you taken care of as soon as possible, so we can go back to screwing around, screaming at me. If anything, doesn't make me work faster, doesn't make me want to do anything for you. And there are incredibly few instances that I will actually just comp a room. People fishing for a free room or free things is so god obvious to me. Working in hospitality made me such a petty person that I had to leave. But sometimes things are as simple as, "Hey, can I have a water?" "Sure, here, have a bag." It has water and some pretzels and a candy bar, as opposed to that person got a little bag when they checked I demand TO have a bag. Well, those bags are actually for the members of our H Honors program. If you sign up online, we can enter your number and you can start earning points. In fact, if you go over to our convenient business center, it'll start you off with a blue tier, just 2 waters bag. That's ridiculous. I've never been treated like this, and I stay here all the time. Oh, well, that's what you got to do to earn the bag. Also, when did you last stay here? I've worked 6 days a week for the last 3 years, and I see nearly every guest that stays here, and I don't think I've seen you before. Oh, well, maybe it's not this one, it's the one across the street.